Hello guys, I just finished filming one video. It was my PS Sweet and Tack haul. This video is going to be more of an updates video. Let me readjust this. There we go, maybe. Okay, so I just finished filming a tack haul. Sorry, I'm like super sweaty. Again, I was not planning on filming. That's why I have helmet hair and grossness. Yeah, it's the dead of summer. It's the middle of the day, over 100 degrees, and there is some humidity today, so it's really hot in here. Anyhow, I just figured I would give you an update, tell you guys about where I've been. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below in the comments. So basically my last video was early to mid-May, and that was our Galway show with Mia, and that was her first recognized event. I haven't been doing anything since because unfortunately right after that show, like a few days later, she came up with a tendon injury. So I was pretty devastated. I thought she'd be out for at least a year. Turns out she wasn't going to be out for a year. We were thinking bowed tendon. She had like the teeny tiniest little bump on her tendon. I'll insert a picture here of what it looked like. It was just something super small. If you didn't know her, you honestly might not even seen it. It was that small. But I was just paranoid. I didn't even ride her after Galway. It was only like a few days after, so I was giving her time off. So I didn't ride her anything before I noticed it, and then I was lucky enough to have my vet come out the next day, and we went ahead and ultrasounded it. So apparently, see if I can remember, this has been a while. Like I said, this was back in May. So apparently she had an old little lesion on her tendon, like a third of the way up from the fetlock on her outer tendon. So I'm trying to like think. Okay, so my vet said based on the ultrasound results, she had an old lesion that's most likely caused by an overreach injury on the track because it looks really old. So she most likely injured herself on the track. It wasn't necessarily healed properly, so that makes her think, my vet think, that the injury was so small the track trainers might not have even seen it, or she could have even done it when she was young and not even broke yet. So we don't know. I mean, it was so small, it honestly probably wouldn't have even shown up in an ultrasound if we'd done an ultrasound in a pre-purchase. So like, yeah, whatever. So basically Mia's new injury is she had a tiny little micro tear on the outside of that old lesion. So it wasn't a full-on bowed tendon. Thankfully, it was just something super small that I caught really early. And that's why it's always important to look at your horse's legs and make sure that, you know, before you get them out, exercise them, that their legs are normal and you know what is their normal, because not every horse's legs are clean and you got to know what's normal for that horse. So that's really important. And is the tractor coming back this way? Okay, no, it's going the way. Sorry, they're doing like a lot of tractor work and cleanup around here and trimming branches, so sorry if you can hear the tractor. But anyhow, she had the micro tear, so that meant she wouldn't be out for 6 months like it would have been if it was a bowed tendon. So instead, let's see, I'm sorry, I'm trying to like remember. I should have wrote this down. I think I do have it written down somewhere. We did 2 weeks of hand walking for 20 minutes at a time, and then I did icing twice daily with my Ice 5 boots, and I kept her wrapped with back on track and incredible wraps. So after 2 weeks, and then I was ready to start doing 2 weeks of tack walking. So the first week was, I'm trying to remember exactly the times. I'll put the exact timing like right here, but I want to say it was around like 30 minutes of tack walking a day for the first week, and then for the second week of tack walking, it was up to an hour of tack walking a day. So I was doing the max tack walk. And then so we had 2 weeks of hand walk, 2 weeks of tack walk, and then 2 weeks of light flatting. And so she said like don't jump until you're at about 8 weeks. So before I went to doing flat work, so we did the 4 weeks total so far, and I was still icing her every day. And then I stopped wrapping her after week 3. Apparently I could have stopped after week 2, but I'm like extra, and again with icing I'm extra, so I kept icing. So after that, I had my vet come out and check her, said she's still all good, her healing's really great, like her leg is clean as can be, you can't even see a bump, you can't feel a bump, there's nothing there to show you that anything had ever happened. So that's good. So I started doing light flat rides. it was maybe our second or third ride, and she just had a lot of energy. Keep in mind, since she had like a tendon injury, I couldn't lunge her to get her hyperness out, and she's quite a hot mare, as you guys know. So she can be really tough to handle when she's been laid up for a month. And so she was just overreacting, and I thought, okay, if I just do this a few days in a row, she'll get her energy out, you know, since I can't lunge the energy out and I can't turn her out. So she was just hyper, kind of trying to dump me, like stop and do her little spin and spin me off, or buck, but of course I didn't fall off. She almost got me a few times though. So we did that, and then yeah, I just was like, why is she like this? This is, like, for her, it's nasty. It's not playful, like, it's nasty. So I had my mom and my trainer watch again, and they both came to the conclusion that she's hurting. It's more of like a pain response versus like just hyperness, playfulness, which, I mean, I had a feeling of, but we didn't know why she was hurting. So I had like everybody come out and look. I had my saddle fitter come out, chiropractor, my vets, we all like looked at her back, and we came to the conclusion that her saddles no longer fit her. So yes, her 2 custom saddles I got last year, she outgrew. Yes, you heard that right. She outgrew them. Devastated. They're for sale, by the way. Details will be in the description box below. So they are for sale, unfortunately, but that also meant that all the tack walking I did for up to an hour for 2 weeks was killing her back in an ill-fitting saddle. She outgrew the saddles. All the conditioning work we did leading up to Galway back in May, it just, I mean, she's 7 years old. She's still growing apparently. Her back is still changing as her top line develops. So unfortunately she outgrew them more than the wool's able to be adjusted. So that left us with no saddle and a horse that's very, very back sore. And right when we discovered she was back sore, she had the white hairs on her back start to appear in like little patches. It wasn't super obvious at first because she does have a lot of white hairs naturally speckled throughout her entire coat, but as there's like a little bit more, and then as I stopped riding her, I didn't do the 2 weeks of regular riding, I like stopped riding her immediately, and then that's when I had everybody come out and look. So again, like I said, saddle fitter, chiropractor, whatever. So I'm like, great, now that I can technically ride my horse, how am I supposed to ride? I don't have a saddle. No one I know has a wide tree, so there's no saddle I can borrow. She's a really hard horse to fit. Her back shape is very odd, especially because she's downhill. So I had that problem. So I had all these treatments done. I had PEMF done. I did the back on track sheet, but that was kind of hard to do because it was hot, and it gets a little bit too hot to leave it on. So I ended up making an appointment to try some saddles at the Oaks Horse Show, which is like it's like an hour and a half north of me, kind of where my Dover is, the Laguna Hills Dover. It's kind of up there in San Juan Capistrano, so it's not as far as Dover, but it's like basically up there. So we trailered Mia up there during a show because some saddle vendors were there. We tested out several saddles and we found like the perfect fit. And it made me really happy because the saddle I ended up ordering is my dream saddle. I actually have my dream saddle. It's right here. This is Ami's saddle. I ended up getting the same exact saddle, same size and everything for me, but in Mia's size. So it's being custom made for her. But the saddle takes 12 weeks to order. I still have something like 7 weeks to go. So yeah, that was fun. I don't know if I'm gonna end up making a saddle trial vlog. I don't know, we'll see. Mia was very, very feisty and very mouthy and very excited, and I don't want to get like bad comments. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll put, you know what, I'll just put like a few clips at the end of this video. I didn't get like I didn't really get proper video clips to make it into like a proper saddle trial vlog. It's more like random clips here and there and not really cohesive at all. So I'll just put them at the end of this video if you're curious. So basically we ended up ordering a saddle, so that leads me to how am I supposed to condition this horse, bring her back into work from an injury, not being able to lunge her, and only being able to ride bareback. And remember, she's a hot horse. Hold on, there's a tractor coming. Okay, tractor's gone. So I had a really hard time. I had to pull on my big girl panties and ride me a bareback. Of course I do have a really nice bareback pad, thankfully, so it's very comfortable and it gives me like a little bit of grip. So I had to bring her back into work, not being able to lunge in a bareback pad. Yep, that was fun. I had to do that for at least 2 weeks before I was able to lunge or jump her or turn her out again. So 8 weeks in her like rehab recovery is when I was able to start doing everything normal that I would have been. And her injury is such that it doesn't limit her to what she can do. So basically just keep an eye on her leg in case anything ever does come up. And my vet suggests icing after every jump school, which I do anyhow. She didn't say anything about wrapping, but I usually do anyhow. So I don't know. So I'm just gonna be doing that. I've jumped her a couple times bareback. Like I said, I have to be brave because she's quite a hyper horse, as you guys know. I've just been riding her several times a week bareback, and we're just basically killing time. I haven't been listening because, I mean, honestly, it's hard to ride her bareback with other horses because I don't want to die and get spun off if another horse comes at us. Like, if Mia's that kind of horse that, you know, she gets scared if you have a horse coming straight on at her. She'll stop and spin, and then I don't want to fall off. Like, I can't get hurt. I have to work. But like, if you keep exposing to her over and over again, then she's not as reactive. But if she's been off for a long time and you go back to doing that, she gets really hyper and reactive. And since she was off for 2 months and then coming back to it in a bareback pad, it's like not quite that brave, honestly. So yeah, that's why I haven't been listening or really been able to get any videos. And it's been extremely hot. It's been over 90, 100 degrees. And honestly, I just haven't really had time. And when I do ride, there's usually no one to video. Besides, you don't want to see me bouncing on her back like a sack of potatoes. Yes. Wow, it's really hot, sorry. So that's like it about Mia. We're just killing time riding bareback till her saddle comes sometime next month. Then I will do like a saddle reveal, show you it and everything. And then Prince. So Prince is here at my barn. He's been here since, has he been here since May? May, June? June maybe? End of May? Early June? I don't know. We brought him back to the barn and I let him settle in for a week or two. And then my vet came out and we did his, what, first assessment since he was here last year. So he's had like 9 months off since he was last here to see if he healed. And so we did all the tests, we did flexions, we did lunge work, we did all that, and we came to the conclusion that unfortunately he did not heal right. He is still having difficulties with his stifles. He's perfectly sound to be a pasture horse and to gallop around and live the rest of his life, whatever. Maybe trail at like a walk, like maybe. She said we could try injecting the crap out of him basically and make him into a low-level horse if we like really wanted to, or we could try getting a little bit of training on him and selling him to someone who's more like equipped to deal with him and his like behavior, since he's really hyper and he's been off for years. But we were just like, no, injecting him at 8 years old is not in his best interest. It would only lead to quicker deterioration, and it's just not the way to go, not the way to handle something like that. So we, as a family, because bear in mind he is technically my mom's horse. Well, legally he's mine, but really he's my mom's horse. So that technically makes him my horse, but he's my mom's horse. Yeah, whatever. So as a family though, we decided that we're gonna go ahead and keep him. And we're just retiring him. We might try the trail idea in the future. Yeah, I mean, there's just not really time right now. Like either hand walk him on trails to see how he likes it, and then eventually maybe try to sit on him and just go for easy walks, like level walks. I don't know if we'll even do that, honestly, but he is plenty sound to just live without being worked on or touched or whatever. Basically, he doesn't have to have any medical stuff done to just be a pasture pet, basically. So yeah, we're keeping him and we're retiring him. He's still at our barn. It is early August, obviously, so he's been here for a couple months, few months maybe, something like that. He's gonna stay here for another month or two, I would assume, just to get him out, get him pampered, get his teeth done, like that kind of thing. let him run around, enjoy social life again. And then he'll probably be going back to my grandma's house with my miniature horse, Misty, who's his companion basically. And then eventually we would like to get my aunt's property, which is not too far from our barn. She used to have like a pasture and corral set up at her house for our last horse we retired, but he passed away right before we got Prince, and she has since then taken down all the panels. So we have to put up all the panels again to make his pasture. Yeah, like dirt paddock basically. I say pasture, but like honestly there's no grass here. So he'll be going there to retire eventually, but he'll probably be going back to my grandma's house until we have my aunt's property ready for him and Misty. That's the long story. Ami, obviously he's still retired. I just ride him a few times a week and we just walk, trot, canter, have fun, whatever. We hang out. He's spoiled. He kind of loves retired life, but not. He still wants to have a job. He really wants to have a job, and he really wants to jump, but he's not allowed to jump. Yeah, that's the update. I mean, it's just been like really hot out. I don't have a lot of time. Today is like really rare that I'm able to film and there's not a million things happening outside. But yeah, so once I have a saddle and I'm able to start taking lessons again and not have to sit out the whole summer event season, which sucks. So basically once I have a saddle I can ride Mia in, I'm going to be getting her back into shape, back into lesson mode, and maybe do a couple fall shows, schooling shows. There's not really any more events we can do this year local, but hopefully we will be ready to kick off the spring event season right on time. Fingers crossed. Yeah, so that is the update. I'm probably like leaving stuff out, so if you stuck around to see some of the saddle trial clips, they will be right here in like 10 seconds. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry, I know it's a long video and you probably are sick of listening to me talk, but that is the really long update video. And I don't know if you can tell, but I actually rearranged my tack shed. I got more of the IKEA thingies. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. And my saddles are right there, and I have this little bit thingy. Yeah, the lighting sucks, I know. Yeah, there's a quick little overview of my shed. So if you want to update a tack room tour, let me know and I will try to clean it as fast as possible and then film it for you guys. Bye.